Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the amazing setups today that allowed me to make $4,290.77 profit day trading in just a few hours. And there were a lot of really good setups. I traded, I think, almost exclusively OTCs. There were, I think, 2 listed stocks that I traded today, and it didn't go super well. So I'm gonna talk about that. But there's just a lot of crazy charts today, guys. We had 2,000% runners in OTC land, if I'm not mistaken. Some crazy moves and just some amazing tickers, guys. You don't want to miss this. You got to be prepared because these things are going to be moving tomorrow. I'll be dip buying them. I'll be buying breakouts. I'll be making hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on several of the tickers I'm mentioning in this video. So if you guys want to be prepared for tomorrow, stick around to the end and please drop a like and support this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the Discord link in the description if you are not in that already, because you probably find it really helpful. And that's it. So let's dive into my computer and talk about these stocks, baby. Alright guys, so I'm here on my laptop, and this is my favorite chart of the day. This is BZ... I already messed up the ticker, guys. Let me try that again. This is BRZV. BRZV. And you can see it has an incredible range. It ran from 1.5 cents up to 17 cents. And if you can't calculate it, 1.5 up to 17, that's more than 1,000% run, guys. That is more than 1,000% run. And that is pretty incredible. And I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, guys. This stock was absolutely incredible. So much range on this. And I made a lot of money on it. And the main reason that I did was the combination of 2 factors. Number one, obviously the large range, the volatility. You can see, I mean, my God, this thing ran way farther than I expected, and it just kept running. But the biggest reason is this stock had such clean fills today, guys. And for whatever reason, sometimes OTC stocks have really bad fills, and sometimes they have really good fills. Now, let me explain what I mean by that in case you don't understand. In case you don't trade OTCs a lot, you wouldn't probably get this. So if you trade NASDAQs, because they go through, you know, major exchanges, or I guess New York Stock Exchange stocks, it's a listed stock and it fills instantly. It fills instantly. Now, if you're trying to short and there's short seller restriction, you have to wait for an uptick, so that's a different story. But pretty much, if you buy market, you're getting filled instantly. If you sell market, you're getting filled instantly. That's how listed stocks work. But on OTCs, there are times where you can sell market and you won't get filled for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes. Your order can be live and you won't get filled. And there are particular stocks where that is particularly bad. And when you trade those stocks, it's very difficult to buy in time to get in for a breakout, but also to cut your losses when you need to, but also to sell and take profits into the spikes. So if there's horrible executions on a stock, it makes it very difficult to trade. Even if it spikes up 1,000% on the day, it's still hard to make money on it. But when you get stocks that run 1,000% on the day, but fill you perfectly, that's when you start to make a lot of money. And in this case, the example that I want to give you is you could buy a stock, say like, I don't even know, say right here, you buy it 714, right? And then it's up here. There's an ask, it's, call it right here, call it at 9. There's an ask at 9, and the bid is still at 7. So you don't want to sell on the bid, but on this stock, I was selling market, and I was getting filled halfway between the bid and the ask. So when there was a huge gap like that, a huge spread, I could still get filled, guys. I could get filled halfway, like immediately. The market makers would instantly fill me, and I love OTC tickers like that. So I don't want to dive too deep into this, but this was an absolutely incredible stock. My best trade on this, unfortunately, I butchered the exit. I nailed the entry. I bought 100,000 shares at 4.5 right here. Actually, no, at 4.4. So I bought 50,000 at 4.4, and I bought 50,000 at 4.3875. So I bought that right here, and I ended up selling them all. I mean, like up in here, man, in like the 5s, in that tiny little candle. And then this thing goes on to run up to above 10 cents. There was a bid at 10 cents. I could have easily sold above 10 cents. Now, I made about $700 on that play right there. Just this tiny one, this tiny candle, guys. This tiny candle, I made about $700. If I had held and been more patient, guys, I could have made golly, like over $6,000 on that trade, guys. That is just what's crazy to me about this. So I butchered this so horribly, man. I thought I was killing it, getting away with that much money, you know, $700. But no, I left a lot of money on the table. So really stinks. But it's just crazy to have runners like this. And the reason for that is, guys, we've had the door open to us by WSRC. And you'll recall this is the stock that I made a video about the other day because it closed really nicely. And then yesterday I made a video because it was really disappointing and closed near the low of day and didn't run much. Well, today it sold off at open, but then started this massive uptrend and was able to break through those pre-market highs there and just rip through that area, man. It was just able to rip through. And it closed, I guess, kind of weak, but overall still an incredible run on this day, guys. I mean, from the low to the highs there, that's, you know, that's an incredible gain. That's 200% gain, right? Yeah, from 10 to 20, that's 100% gain. To 30, that's 200% gain, over 200% gain. I mean, absolutely incredible from that lower day. So we got that volatility again. Now, one thing about this stock is this ticker gives a lot worse fills than BRZV. So like you can't sell when you want to, and you can't always buy when you want to, which can make it a little bit frustrating if you're trying to trade. Because even though there's a lot of range, it can be tough to get the fills that you need to make the money that you want to make on these stocks. So you got to be aware of that. But this is one that I'm still going to be watching heavily tomorrow. I don't know if it wants to keep running. I don't know if it wants to panic. But whatever it wants to do, I will be there waiting, and I'll be calling it out in the Discord. So be ready for that. We had another stock, guys. This one was a lot lower volume, but this was another 1,000% runner of the day. MDWK. MDWK. And this stock ran from a penny up to 14 cents. But this one didn't have enough volume to really come back. But I mean, there was still definitely room to profit in here. I mean, still an insane chart if you look at the daily. I mean, it's just wild. It's just wild. But this one had such low volume. Wasn't really a ton of opportunity on this one, honestly, unless you got in very early on this run right here and took some profits up there. So that wasn't actually my favorite other stock. My favorite other stock on the day was NUVM. And this is one, I'm not sure how much this ran up on the day. I guess it closed up 100% on the day from, I don't know, I think it was 100. Yeah, around 100% on the day. It closed up. It did run really nicely in here. I mean, this was pretty insane. Had a nice dip buy in here. There's just lots of opportunities to profit on this, guys. And this was another one that had really clean fills. And looking at this chart, it's kind of hard to explain how to profit on these. But basically what I do is, like, sometimes if there's a big spread, you know, I'll try to get in on the bid, and I can sell market halfway and get out. That's how I flip sometimes. If it feels like the momentum is going upward, I can buy on the ask and then try to sell on the ask, or buy on the ask and then sell market because it's moving up fast enough to be able to profit like that. Or when it's panicking, I'll try to dip buy on the bid and then wait for it to bounce up and sell on the ask. You know, so there's a lot of different ways you can profit on these stocks, but when there's this much range and the fills are that good, guys, you can make a lot of money because, I mean, this doesn't look like that big of a bounce, okay, but I mean, it bounces from 3.86 all the way up to 7 pretty much. So I mean, that's, what is that? I mean, actually, I think I can do that. That's an 83% bounce, guys. That's an 83% bounce. So there's a lot of room to profit, guys. You put in $5,000 in a position there, and that turns into, I can't do that in my head. What is that? $8,000? $9,000? I mean, that's a lot of money, guys. 4,000 profit you can make on a little mini chart like this. So be aware of that. Lots of room to profit. And just be ready for these because it feels like MSRC really got the market, not MSRC, WSRC, really heated up the OTC market, which is very exciting. And I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully it continues to be this hot. Maybe it's not. I have no idea. Sometimes we get a random cold day in the middle of a hot streak, but it's really nice. Another one that was running today was DLOC. Guys, we had a lot of runners today in OTC land, like a lot of 100% plus runners, which is just beautiful because when you have that type of volatility, there's so much room to profit. There really is, guys. So those were my main tickers on the day. I actually finished up $4,900 in my E-Trade, but then I lost 623 in my Schwab. And I want to explain the chart where I lost it on. So the chart I actually lost it on was on ITRM. And if you guys look at this chart, this is probably the most insane chart I have ever seen in my life. And it might not look that crazy. You know, I just showed you a chart that ran 1,000%. So like, David, what's so crazy about this chart? It is so ridiculously uncommon to see a stock at a certain level panic massively, rebound all the way up and break those highs just like immediately like this. I mean, that is so incredibly rare. So because of that, I started shorting this stock on the bounce because unfortunately, you know, I missed the dip entry down here or here or here or here. I didn't see it till it was like, I don't know, like right here in this area. And at this point, you know, I see a chart like this. I don't want to buy here because my experience in the stock market has taught me that when I buy something here, the next candle, it puts it at like 175 and then it's down at like 1.7. So I don't want to be buying at this point on the chart. I missed the entry. The buy entry was down here. So I started shorting this thing, and I actually caught it right on this candle, right? So I caught it right here. I forget where I first shorted it. So I first shorted it, I guess. I have so many entries, man. I can't tell exactly. But pretty much I ended up shorting it in here. I had pretty decent size. I might have added a little bit up here. And so I was short max 15,000 shares, which for every penny, that's 150 bucks. So it's kind of a lot of size. And I covered just 5,000 shares on this washout down here. And then unfortunately, it decided, yeah, I covered at 180 right there on the washout. And then I didn't cover the rest, guys. So I was still short 10,000 shares. And I was up like 500 on that position. But then I didn't cover the rest because I didn't want to cover too soon and then have this thing go down to 1.7. I do that all the time. I cover way too soon. So I decided to hold, guys. And unfortunately, the next candle did this, and it bounced back. And I didn't really have a chance to get out. So I cut it right here, right before this red candle, so I probably would have finished break even. But then I think I took another stab at it, and it ended up squeezing higher. So I ended up, you know, being down on this ticker, like instead of up 500, I ended up being down like 900 on the day because of this. So it was, I mean, in my Schwab, so it was very, very frustrating. And you can see this thing just ends up bouncing higher. And I think part of the reason was Zach Morris actually tweeted that he bought a bunch of this. I think he bought like 200,000 shares or 400,000 shares. He's a Twitter guru who goes in very big on positions. And because of that, I think it helped this stock bounce a little bit more than it probably would have otherwise. So because of that, my short did not pay off at all. And I ended up losing some money on it. But it is what it is. It's a valuable lesson. And I think part of the reason for that is the fact that this stock apparently sold off literally due to no bad news, no nothing. It was just someone market selling a ton of shares, 2 million shares or whatever. So I think that's the reason that it tanked that hard. So I guess, moral of the story, if a stock tanks really, really hard for no reason, it can bounce back up to where it started from. I guess that's the main thing. If it's not super overextended. Because like if you look at this chart, well, I mean, to me that looks like it could have been overextended. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely up a lot from there. That's weird, guys. I'm not sure what the moral of the story is. If you guys have any moral of this story, I guess definitely comment it down below, because 99 times out of 100, a stock is not, no, more than that, man. If you see a stock that looks like this, it's not going to immediately bounce back up and get above these levels where it was consolidating. It just does not happen. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. So the fact that that happened is pretty damn wild, man. So yeah, I took an L on that. There were a couple other stocks that I did trade just a little bit, so I want to call them out. DPLS is one I've been watching for a while, and it's just weird, man. This daily chart is just weird. It's like, I don't know that I've ever seen a daily chart like this. It's like very, very choppy, all up in this overextended range, but it's just very choppy in this range. So I don't know if it's gonna break out and keep running, or if it's just gonna keep being weird, man. But it suddenly turned into like a chop fest, which is super annoying. Like, it looks like it's breaking down and they'll just whack it back up. Looks like it's breaking out and they'll just dump it. So it's very difficult to trade this. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I'm definitely gonna keep watching it because I'm not gonna let it get the best of me. LWLG, guys, this stock, my goodness, it is so epic. This chart is getting insane. I mean, just look at this, guys. just look at this. I mean, this stock is up from $1 $1.30, man. It's up from $1 back in March. And I mean, as recent as June, it was $1.75. And now it's at knocking on the door of $10. So this stock is way overextended. Hopefully it can have one more massive green day, and then I can feel comfortable being more aggressive on the short side, because I feel like it could still definitely squeeze higher, maybe even a couple days higher. I have no idea, man. I mean, the higher this thing goes, the better it's going to be for the short. But it's very, very manipulated, and it's very difficult to short this thing, guys, because it does not want to break down, and like it'll panic. But if you short into weakness, they just like grind it back higher, and they just move it. I feel like it's all market makers, so you got to be careful. But there's a lot of opportunity on this thing. I wish I could long it, but like I've traded enough to know that I can't buy a chart when it looks like this. I can't buy here. You're asking to get dumped on, so I can't do it. I'm just gonna wait for it to dump and be ready to short it. It could also potentially be a good dip buy at some point, but you never know. When they pull the rug and stop promoting it or stop pushing it up, it could just panic and not see any bottom for a while. So you might take a lot of paper cuts trying to find the bottom on this dip buy. So you got to be careful in that regard. So I just wanted to call that one out. MJWL, this had some type of news today, but it was weird, bro. I think the news came out like right here or something. I think it came out right here, and I cut here, and then it maybe ended up running more later. This chart's also like kind of overextended, but I guess it's just choppy in this area, so maybe it's just gonna chill here. So maybe it's gonna run a lot more before it pulls back. I have no idea, man. I'm gonna just keep watching this one. Definitely want to keep on watch. This is actually another great one, ZNOG. I'm upset I missed the short on this one because it did go red on the day. You can see this is a really nice chart. You know, 3 big green days. I missed the short here. After it went red, it was choppy. You know, around that red green area in here. You know, it went red on the day, came back, went red on the day, came back. But, you know, I guess making those lower lows every time should have been a good sign to short this, because, you know, I could have made a lot of money shorting this. So I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe there's no play on here anymore. Not sure. Anything else I don't want to miss for you guys? Yeah, I guess a couple of ones. AABB was running up a little bit today, so I did take some shorts on this right here because it couldn't break 13. I covered down here, and then it did end up breaking 13. RECAF, supposedly they had some news about fraud or something, but this stock is so sketchy. Like, do you see this chart? This chart is like unheard of, guys. Like, again, it's so weird to see stocks absolutely panic and then come back and then panic again and then just bounce all the way back and then break the high at day, bro. Like, this stock is so manipulated, so sketchy. I'm just not a fan. I really don't like this stock at all. It's really gross. So I would recommend to probably just stay away from this. That's not financial advice. That's just entertainment. But you know how I do. And then the last stock I traded was MRIN. And this is one where I was hoping for a little squeeze over this high a day break. And I did end up longing it here. And I think I couldn't do it, man. I think I sold like right here, right before it spiked up. And then I rebought a little bit and sold into the spike, but then I tried to dip buy it and sold for a loss. So like overall, I think I was around break even in this choppiness. Never ended up squeezing, just faded in after hours. So lame, but that was a listed stock. So that's my recap for the day, guys. AMC, what's it doing? Not doing too much, man. Jeez, can it pick a direction already? It's so weird to see a stock go supernova and then just like bounce back and forth. It's gonna pick a direction, man, between 65 and 51, man. It's gonna do it. And it's going to be glorious, and whatever way it goes, man, I'm ready. So if this thing actually wants to break down under 50, man, I would probably short it. And if it actually wants to break out over 65, I'd probably long it. Or you could always trade that range, you know, if it starts getting close, you know, starts getting down there, you could long it, risking the break of that area, breaking the break of 50. You know, so assuming it stays in that channel, but I feel like it's got to break out of that soon. So that's what I'm waiting for, guys. You know, based on this, it could shoot a lot higher. You know, we could have an explosive breakout day, so I'm not sure. That, or we could have a breakdown day. This consolidation is honestly good for breaking out, so it's not out of the question that this thing breaks out past those highs there. So I'll be watching it carefully, but that is it for the day, and I'll see you guys later. So hopefully you found it helpful. Catch you in the next one. Until then, you know the drill. Let's grow better together.
preguntar. Bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.